Cheat Code Support Strategist by myheadinthecoudsnotcomingdown. Read by Rat Overlord. Chapter 72, Damage Control. Summary: the mall attack levels up. The fire alarm was really annoying. Tamura had just wanted to buy a stupid game, but in addition to it being loud, the alarm meant that the workers were shutting down the store and sweeping everybody out. There probably wasn't even a fire. It was most likely just a bunch of dumb kids who'd pulled the fire alarm to be funny. It was really pissing him off. Tamura shoved his hands in his pockets and kept his head down as he made his way towards the door. He wouldn't be getting his game today, so there wasn't any point in sticking around until the fire department decided to show up and investigate. He'd better get back to the league anyways, even if the new push for recruitment left a bad taste in his mouth. All for One was going to do whatever he wanted anyways, so what was even the point in Tamura pretending he even had a say in any of it? There was a commotion as someone forced their way into the store, and Tamura barely had any time to recognize Todoroki before he was being grabbed by the arm and dragged behind one of the shelves.
Are you really attacking us right now? Seriously? If you are, I swear to God I will... What?
Tamura yanked his arm away and looked at Todoroki in disbelief.
I'm not... What are you even talking about? I'm just here to buy a stupid game.
Todoroki narrowed his eyes.
So you and your little gang aren't here to target my class? I'm the only one here, you idiot!
Tamura snapped.
Well, unless that little creep. No, we agreed no spoilers. Whatever. Why in the world would I be attacking you? I didn't even know you would be here.
Thank God. Immediately, Todoroki deflated in relief.
Then you need to get out of here. Now. Somehow, Cheat Code caught sight of you on the cameras, and everyone thinks it's going to turn into another USJ. The heroes are already on their way.
Mineta fumed slightly as Kaminari listened raptly to Uraraka's report. What did that stupid gaming geek think he was doing? Launching an attack just days before the actual attack they had planned? He was going to show their card and ruin everything! Mineta seriously had no idea what All for One saw in him anyways. Beyond the destructive quirk, he never even did anything. He didn't deserve to be Sensei's successor. Uraraka disappeared and Kaminari's hands sparked nervously.
Do you really think we're going to have to fight again? Last time I ended up useless. Why would the League attack now?
Mineta forced himself to stay in character.
Our class totally isn't ready!
Nothing was ready. The timing was totally wrong. If Shigaraki actually attacked now... Wait, did that idiot actually plan this? Or did he just get angry and decide to dust someone just because? Of course he couldn't kill someone when it actually mattered, but when it messed up all their plans, it was no big deal. That guy was such a child sometimes. Seriously. He followed a step behind Kaminari until they ran into a group of people that was large enough for Mineta to pretend he had just gotten separated in the crowd. Would they even be able to attack the camp after this? Or worse, would this make the League a laughingstock? They already had one failed attack under their belts thanks to Cheat Code, but if word got to the media that Shigaraki was here and pretty much no damage was done, it would make it seem like they weren't dangerous at all. They couldn't afford that, not when they were just barely seeing the recruitment results from their alliance with Spinner. Mineta pulled out his phone and almost did a double take when he saw that Shinso had added someone named Cheat Code to the chat. He had Cheat Code's number now. He shook his head. He'd figure out how to use that to his advantage later. The important part was that he had confirmation that Shinso was close to Cheat Code, and he'd be able to know the hero's next moves if he kept his eye on the chat. For now, he just had to make sure that he was on the same page with the rest of the League.
Ah, yes, Trapper.
Kurogiri answered quickly, thankfully.
I had thought you were simply maintaining your cover today.
Well, that was what I thought as well,
Mineta hissed.
But apparently Sensei's little brat had other plans. Did you know the League is attacking the mall today?
There was a telltale silence on the other end of the phone for a long moment.
I had not been aware, no. I had thought young Tamura was simply on a walk to clear his head.
Yeah?
Mineta scowled.
Well, apparently he got himself spotted, and now my entire class is preparing for USJ Take 2.
This is... Unfortunate timing.
Kurogiri said carefully.
I will have to discuss this with young Master Tamura.
There's not a lot of time for that.
Mineta cut him off.
Right now, we need to focus on damage control. Like you said, we can't afford to show our hand, but we also can't afford not to attack because then it will look like we're nothing but cowards running away from the heroes.
Ah,
Kurogiri's voice was grim.
so we've been caught in a catch-22.
Mineta frowned thoughtfully.
Not necessarily. It isn't the best, but there might still be a way to turn this in our favor. We have new recruits for the training camp, right?
Assuming that Tamura approves it, then yes.
Kurogiri replied.
Well, considering that this whole fiasco is his fault, then he's going to have to.
Mineta rolled his eyes.
Get yourself and Spinner over here. That shouldn't give them any information, and there's enough of my classmates around that he should have plenty of false heroes to choose from. If we're lucky, no one will suspect two attacks so close to each other, and we can use this as camouflage for our next move.
A solid strategy, young trapper.
Kurogiri said smoothly.
Sensei will be proud.
Mineta growled as he hung up and ran to catch up with Kaminari.
He better be.
Todoroki kept a bit of distance between him and Shigaraki as they made their way out of the store. On the one hand, he was really glad that they weren't being attacked right now, but on the other, he was terrified that Shigaraki wasn't going to get out of this, and that scared him. He was supposed to be a hero. He shouldn't even be considering letting a villain like Shigaraki escape, much less helping him. He should have immediately let his classmates know where to find him and cornered him together, or even just trapped him in an ice cube immediately. So why was he giving him a chance to run? Despite everything that he knew he should do, all he did when they got into the hall was nod and start walking in the opposite direction. If it had been an actual attack, then he would have fought him, right? He hoped so, at least. That's what being a hero was all about. But still, why had his first instinct been to warn the villain instead of capturing him? The gaming store they'd been in was on the second floor, and with mass evacuation from the fire alarm, there were now a lot of people crowding around the stairs and escalators waiting to get down. According to Uraraka, their class had been authorized to help with evacuation, so it might be good to make a slide down to the first level to help with the bottleneck. There wasn't any real rush to get everyone out, since this was just a big misunderstanding and not an actual villain attack, but he didn't really have a way to communicate that to everyone, and even if he did, how was he supposed to explain how he knew? He didn't really know the words to describe his relationship to his co-streamer, and if he said that Shigaraki had told him that it wasn't a real attack, his classmates would just get the wrong idea. No, the best strategy when things went wrong in a game was to keep following the rules of the current quest until things calmed down a little more, which would happen as soon as Shigaraki left and everyone realized that there wasn't any real danger. Suddenly, Shoto heard screaming in the plaza below them. The screams were loud enough that he could hear them above the sounds of the alarms, so he ran to the balcony just in time to see a lizard man with a katana crawl out of a smoking portal and stick himself to the fountain. The portal. That was Kurogiri. If Kurogiri was here, that meant Shigaraki had lied. He didn't know why the realization left him feeling nauseous. Of course Shigaraki was going to lie. He was a villain. That's what he did. Shoto really didn't have any right to be surprised. God, he was such an idiot. Shoto's face hardened and he whirled around, ice already coating his arm as he prepared to encase Shigaraki in an instant glacier, only to be distracted by more screams and the railing on the balcony suddenly disintegrating into dust. Everyone who had been leaning against it like Shoto had screamed and had to jump back to avoid falling, but of course, not everyone was fast enough. Shoto leapt into action, jumping off the balcony as a sheet of ice exploded out from his right foot and created a ledge to catch everyone who had fallen. He slid along the ice, building underneath him as he went. When he got to the main level, he glided to a stop and took a quick moment to look around and make sure everyone that he'd saved was all right, then immediately looked up to glare at Shigaraki before stopping cold. Shigaraki looked horrified. His hands were grasping in mid-air, and Shoto could just imagine him running to the railing like everyone else had and accidentally gripping the metal with all 5 fingers. His eyes were blown wide, glued to the portal, and barely concealed panic, and Shoto swallowed as a horrible realization hit him. Shigaraki didn't know. Howdy y'all, hope you enjoyed. Things are finally getting serious! And if you did enjoy, feel free to leave a like or comment down below, because I always love hearing from you guys, and make sure to subscribe so you can stay up to date with whenever I post. And as always, your little daily reminder to go slurp down some of that sweet, sweet agua. And also to leave your questions down below for my upcoming Q&A video.